couple months back, there was huge breaking news in the toy industry that Mattel and Hasbro were gonna team up to make some collaborative efforts for games and toys and all that jazz. We'd be getting Transformers Uno and Hot Wheels along with a Barbie Monopoly, and who else is to say what is gonna come in the future? And now we've seen Mattel try their hand at a transforming figure. Now, I don't think it's in any collaboration between the two. It's just funny coincidence that those two things are in conjunction with one another. And this thing is wacky. And it's this. This is the Jurassic World Fierce Changers smashing something T-Rex transform. I don't know. This is a wacky thing, and it's going to be the subject of today's Deceptibot9 review. So go ahead, strap yourselves in for this one. I should have said hang on to your butts. How's it going, everyone? Deceptibot9 here, and thank you as always for joining me here on the channel. Now, before we get too far into that dino, I'd like to ask, if you like what you see, go ahead and leave me a like. Plus, if you want to see all the future content I've got planned and you haven't already subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well. It does really, truly mean a lot to me. Plus, if you want to find me anywhere else on the internet, all of my social links are in the description down below. So yeah, we're gonna take a departure and check out Mattel's Transformers, the T-Rex that turns into a Jurassic Park Jeep. And I'm gonna tell you guys, it is an interesting thing. It's pretty fun to own, but it's pretty wild. So let's go ahead and head down to the review station and take a closer look at this behemoth. Alright, so here we are down at the station with the Jurassic World Fierce Changers T-Rex all transformed up as he comes packaged in his, or I guess her, because I guess this is Rexy, in their T-Rex mode. And guys, this thing is really, really interesting. We're going to take a close look, obviously, at all the details and everything here in a minute, but off the top, this is just really, really intriguing. I've been intrigued by this thing ever since I saw initial pictures of it. And so when I saw that it came out, I had to grab it. And it's not bad. I mean, as a first attempt of a transforming sort of figure for a company that doesn't normally do it, it certainly isn't bad by any means. The vibes I get off of it are those original, like, 2008, 2009 Star Wars and Marvel crossover figures that Hasbro did. Because it feels kind of like that. It's a little gimmicky. It's more so focused on the gimmick of transformation rather than being kind of like how Transformers are now, where you're getting a really solid alternate mode toy, and then you're getting a really solid robot toy that just happens to convert between the two. Obviously, Transformers, the main gimmick still is transformation, but you know, they kind of put the focus everywhere into all of those aspects, trying to be as good as possible. Whereas this just felt like, we're making a T-Rex turn into the Jurassic Park Jeep. The main thing is conversion. So, yeah, suffice to say, you've been seeing it now on a 360. So let's take a closer look at the details. All right, coming up here first, the traditional sort of Jurassic Park T-Rex sort of head sculpt looking deal here. We got the eyes painted all white with a little black pupil. They got teeth in there, molded in and painted, of course. On the inside of the mouth, you can see all the sort of mouth things that go on there. There's a little bit going on up back there, but not really much. And you got a tongue there. And of course, that's all for details. That's really all there is. It's just kind of T-Rex all the way down, you know, the sort of scaly type T-Rex skin all the way across. You got little arms here with a couple little talons. On the bottom here is the sort of whiter or cream color stuff. That's Jeep parts in there, obviously. We get the underbelly, of course, which is in the sort of lighter, you know, that cream color that you traditionally see when you're talking about a T-Rex, a cartoony sort of stylized T-Rex for the most part. Coming down, legs obviously are just all, again, that sort of scale material. You can see two little tires up here. We got a little bit of paint down here on the feet for his claws, and then there's, of course, all this Jeep stuff hanging off here. He's got a bunch of kibble here on the legs, and he's got a tiny stumpy little tail, but it's again got all of that sort of dino detail going on, and on the back, that's pretty much about it. You know, you're seeing just some ratchet joints and some more of that detail. So there's really not much to say with the detail going on here, because it just looks like a T-Rex. I'll just be completely honest with you. It's got that T-Rex sort of aesthetic. Hold on, this man is trying to fumble all over the place. There we go. Get him where he can stand up. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, I mean, he looks fine. He looks great. He serves his purpose as sort of a big T-Rex toy, but you can obviously tell that there is something else going on with that. So let's talk about what is probably the worst part of this figure, and that is its articulation, because there's basically none. I'm just going to say that. The head doesn't do anything. It is static here, except for it's got a jaw that opens up all the way down, which is, of course, nice. His arms here, he does have a little bit, if you want to get them going sort of forward and backward. His arms, you can do that. And he's got a little bit of an elbow as well to sort of replicate the way the T-Rex arms go. Now, the legs have articulation. They have joints. I don't think they were meant to be articulation joints. I think they are all meant for conversion, because he's got ratcheted joints here on the legs, which can go all the way around. But as you see, they stop ratcheting after a certain point. So they can ratchet all the way this way, like 2 or 3 ratchets, and then it just stops being a ratchet, and it's just a free swivel here on the back. So there's only, supposed to be certain sections. You can see I'm having trouble with the legs, because he's got a joint here that's a knee, but it goes like that, and it's nice heavy ratchet, but again, feels more like it's meant for conversion rather than articulation, which isn't a problem. Again, conversion is the main gimmick. I'm going to keep saying that. This thing is about conversion, not necessarily aesthetic in either mode. He's got then 2 other joints here in the legs. These ones definitely feel more so conversion joints than articulation joints, but they can ratchet both ways. They start to get sort of blocked by some of the other kibble here on the legs. And the feet also have a big hinge joint as well. You noticed him sort of being very front heavy, perhaps, and that is very, very true. He is very, very front heavy. It is kind of difficult to find poses that will suit the way he stands. You saw the position on the turntable where both legs were kind of together. You can pull that off. It gets to be a little tricky sometimes when his front is too heavy. The biggest problem is the fact that there's just a lot happening here in the front side. The head's got weight to it. This front section right here has a lot of weight to it because there's a lot of pieces that happen right there. And then you get to this middle section right here, and it's got a little bit of weight to it because it has electronics in it, which I will touch on in just a moment. And then you get to the tail, which has nothing. So there's no weight or anything going on in the tail, which if you're looking at a dinosaur, they have tails for the reason of counterbalance, because that's just how their bodies are built, right? So when you have all of the weight up here and none of the weight back here, it doesn't work. So the way I've found that is the easiest, sort of standing position for the T-Rex is sort of one leg here in the front kind of bent and going forward more, and one leg in the sort of more traditional, like L bent up shape towards the back, because that helps sort of counter his weight difference. So that's the easiest way I've found to get him to stand. Otherwise, it can be pretty tricky and pretty difficult to get him to stand, which does suck. But yeah, so there's that. I mean, he doesn't really pose. He just kind of stands there and looks neat. Anyway, I mentioned electronics, so this guy doesn't have any accessories. He did come with stickers that really don't feature here in the T-Rex mode. We'll get to them when we get to the Jeep. But in lieu of accessories, he does include electronics, which are started by this little button up here at the top. So if you push it on the front side, he does a kind of long roar thing. And then if you push the back one, no. Okay, so it's one button. I thought there was... There it is. If you kind of push and hold on the backside, it does a weirder, like sort of longer growl. Yeah, so you can. Okay, thank you. You can hear the two sort of separate growls that come out of the figure, but that's about it for the T-Rex mode. Let's do a couple quick comparisons so you can kind of get a size gauge out of it, and then we'll hit that transformation. All right, so here is Hasbro's Transformers Jurassic Park collaborative I can't remember her name, Tyrannicon Rex or something like that. And then the Mattel Fierce Changers T-Rex. You can really see the big differences here. You know, this one's got a premium. Now, I'm going to say right now, I haven't mentioned the price point yet. This figure costs the same as a leader class Transformer. This is $54.99. So roughly, I'm going to say roughly, Rex, I'm just going to call her Rexy over here. Rexy here is roughly the same price, $54.99-ish. I know that pack was a little bit inflated in terms of price, but roughly $54.99. You're getting, you know, this size T-Rex with a premium deco, full articulation in the T-Rex mode. You can actually stand up, but you can really see the size difference here again. And this is a kind of the point where a lot of the, let me put Tyrannicon Rex here in the front. A lot of this is coming down to difference in style, obviously, because again, this Mattel one back here, conversion, this one is meant to be a really solid action figure all around. So I would pick this one all day. This one's fun. I'll elaborate that on the end, but this one's fun. This is a great figure. You know. And here's another Mattel T-Rex comparison. This is the Jurassic World Hammond Collection T-Rex, Rexy from the first Jurassic Park movie. If you watched my Best of 2022 tournament video from last year, this is one of my favorite figures of last year. I think this thing is incredible. This thing is so much fun. She poses well. She looks great, and I love T-Rex. It's my favorite dinosaur. And this thing is just incredible. And now, these two are the same price. These are both $54.99, and you're getting a lot more with this, just in terms of size, articulation, deco, like everything about this is better than this in every way. But this transforms. So again, the thing with this one is it converts. Does it convert well? Let's go ahead and find out here in just a minute. All right. Now let's go ahead and go over to conversion, because I guess it's technically not a transformation, but let's get this thing transformed up into its vehicle mode. Now, I will say, before I actually start transforming it, something that I found really neat was the instructions were a little bit of a mess. I don't have the instructions anymore. I tossed them already, but the instructions on them are a little bit of a mess, but they do include a QR code to a unlisted video on the Mattel YouTube channel that details the transformation, like with a CG model, and it goes step by step. And that was something that I thought was really neat, and I think could be interesting if they included that on future Transformers that were a little bit tougher to transform, and maybe not on all of them, but maybe like on a Masterpiece or something, if they included a video. I don't know. I just thought it was really neat that they did that, and it kind of helped guide the process because the instructions were a little bit of a mess. But anyway, okay, here we go. Let's get this thing transformed up into its Jeep mode. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this transformation here while we see it on screen. And it's kind of a mess a little bit up here at the front. It's a little messy, and by messy, what I mostly mean is that there's a lot of panels that flip and fold around, and it definitely needed a second go around to figure out some of the clearances, like you can see here on these, flipping these bottom panels up to the top. The clearances are just not exactly as clean as they should be, right? There's a lot of pushing that you have to do with these pieces in the head right there too, to sort of get everything to fold to its proper status there. But kind of once you get the front done, that's kind of the most messy part of it, to be honest. And then from here on out, it's just going to be folding the legs up, condensing them, and then folding all the Jeep panels out. So from here, it's a little shell formery, but the legs go up, and then you kind of hinge them down on these big old hinges that they've got connected at the hips. After that, you just fold all the panels out and make sure everything tabs in correctly and lines up, and pretty straightforward from there. And it all, there is part of it that it does come together sort of satisfyingly at the end once you sort of get everything all right and it clicks together. Not everything holds together 100%, but once you get it there and it clicks, it does have that nice satisfying completion to it.
Whew, okay, after that transformation, here we have the Jeep mode for the Fierce Changers T-Rex. Yes, you can see the 360 here of the Jeep that it is. It's a Jeep. I mean, it certainly is a Jeep. It's got an odd shape to it, but let's go ahead and take a look at the details on it. All right, so here at the front, we've got, of course, the little headlights. These are sticker pieces, so those are both stickers. We've got the little bit of the Jeep grill sort of molded there into the back of the T-Rex. That's neat. I'm glad they tried that. And again, right here on the front of the Jeep here, or the front of the Jeep here, sort of molded like a Jeep, this was the back of the T-Rex head and stuff right there. So neat that they were able to incorporate some of that in there. And we've got some molding of Jeep here at the top, alongside with this sort of cream color here with the red stripe. This is, of course, the classic Jurassic Park Jeep that we are now going to be seeing in official Transformer form later this year with that Dilophoncon 2-pack as well. On the top, we've got JP18, of course, the stickers. These are stickers, but of course that Tampo appears on the actual vehicle in the movie. We got black paint here, which we saw on the legs for the front windshield, and a sort of brown covering this whole area. Again, this was all that kibble that was folded up on the Jeep. We got black paint here for the windows here on the side, red paint down here on the bottom, or on the rims of the wheels. And then a Jurassic Park logo that when I saw on the sticker sheet, I was so confused as to why they broke it up into 3 parts. Once they started applying, it made sense because they're on 3 different panels. So you can see this one is, I tried my best to get it lined up as good as possible, but this side didn't really work out so well. This side worked out a little bit better for the lining up, but it's pretty difficult with those pieces to get them all lined up correctly. We got red stripes here on the side, and moving on to the back, we got just some sort of generic back Jeep details. You got 2 stickers here. There was supposed to be 2 stickers here. These are so incredibly small that you can see I lost one already there, but oh well. What can you do? And then, of course, black here, right there. And on the bottom, actually folds up fairly nicely on the bottom. This is the belly. It folds up flat. You get the head there a little bit, but nothing crazy. But yeah, I mean, overall, the Jeep mode it's not bad. I mean, it's misproportioned for sure. It is not very well proportioned to how the actual Jeep looks. And the front could use a little work here. Obviously, I appreciate what they did to get some of this molding in here, but it obviously looks like things have folded up around there. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of shell formery in a lot of aspects, so a lot of the weight here is now in the back. But, I mean, what can you do? Honestly, the Jeep mode doesn't look all that bad. I do kind of enjoy it for what it is. Of course, it's got wheels, so it'll roll, and it rolls fairly well, actually. That's a pretty solid roll out of it. And just like the T-Rex mode, it does have sounds. It's housed by this button back here, so if you push it, you get kind of a revving, like when it's stuck, it's revving to try to get out of the mud pile. And then we've also got a... Nope, not that one. Like a startup engine noise. So, they incorporated the sounds and everything, which is really neat. And, not even many Transformers do that, if any at all these days. So it does take you back to a nice time when you were younger. But yeah, here's the G mode. I'll go ahead and show it off with some other things so you can get a relative size difference here. Here's the Fierce Changers T-Rex in Jeep mode with the Hasbro Transformers Jurassic Park crossover in T-Rex mode. Obviously, these do not scale whatsoever. They're not meant to. Just so you can see comparisons with another truck, here is Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie, so you can kind of see how large this figure is. And again, one more time, here is the Hammond Collection T-Rex with the Fierce Changers T-Rex. This is a little more in scale. It's still probably not entirely accurate, but you can see how those two work together. All right, so that's about going to do it for my closer look at the Jurassic World Fierce Changers T-Rex. So let's go ahead and rev on back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on this big old hunk of plastic is it's fun. I mean, it's in all honesty, it takes me back to about the years 2008, 2009. It feels very much like those Transformers from that era. Obviously not the ones like from Animated or from Revenge of the Fallen, but those crossover figures, like the Star Wars ones, like the big Anakin and Vader that turned into the Star Destroyer, or the big Vader that turned into the Death Star. Like, it feels very much like that, where it's fun. I mean, it's really fun to see a T-Rex turn into a Jeep and a Jeep turn into a T-Rex, vice versa. It's got sounds, but transformation can be a little bit of a mess, at least here on this front side. Backside, for the most part, is very easy and shell formery, so it makes sense and it's straightforward, but this front part could have used a little bit of work. The clearances don't exactly work 100%. It can be a little finicky. But it's fun, it's fun to have this Jeep thing that turns into a T-Rex and vice versa. And see, now at this point I'm just repeating myself. Is it worth $54.99? I'm on the fence about if it's worth $54.99. You might be able to, I would say you can get it if it's like $35 or $40 maybe. But hey, it's up to you. I think it's fun. It's a cool little piece to have. And I definitely hope that Mattel goes more into this a little bit, because I think with some work they can do some pretty neat stuff. I know the Fierce Changers line has other varieties as well. They have little smaller ones that like eggs that turn into the dinosaurs, or dinosaurs that turn into other dinosaurs. But this is the only one that's like dinosaur to vehicle, and I think that's pretty neat. So if they keep going down this rabbit hole, I think it could result in some pretty cool stuff. I'd even love to see Mo2 tackle the Fierce Changers line one of these days. I just think that'd be pretty neat. Alright, y'all, that's going to do it for my full closer look at the Mattel Jurassic World Fierce Changers Tyrannosaurus Rex to Jeep figure. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this thing down below. Did you know this thing existed? Are you going to plan on picking it up? All that sort of stuff. Let's talk about this Mattel's venture into transforming figures down below. And guys, with all that being said, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I do really, truly appreciate it. As always, I have been your host, deceptibot9. Thank you, as always, for joining me here on the channel. I'll see you guys later.